Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60andMe. Today is Sunday, July 31st. It's the last day of the month. So I hope you're doing well today, having a great morning so far. I am sitting here with my cup of tea. I have Earl Grey this morning. It's really great, nice tea. I hope you have got a cup of coffee or tea by your side, and let's just relax and bring you up to speed on what's going on in the world. And I have an interesting article today on something of interest to our demographics, so hopefully it will be of interest to you. I want to thank everybody for being here, and for people who are here for the first time, this Mornings with 60andMe is a time where we get together every day, and I update you on the news items and give you some perspective that's hopefully positive. But most important, it's really a time for us just to be together and for you to talk to one another and just get the sense this is your place, it's your time, and welcome your comments and feedback on any of the topics that we chat about today. So let's get going. I have a couple of things, just world news in general. In London, Julian Assange, who's the head of WikiLeaks, has announced that he is going to release a number of emails from the Democratic Committee. He says it's important, in his opinion, that people know what's going on behind the scenes. As you know, they've been responsible for releasing a lot of email and documents that they feel are important for the public to be aware of. And this comes very close on the heels of another hacking attack of emails from the Democratic Committee that people are investigating whether it was sponsored by the Russians or other people. But it's all very disruptive, and there's two points of view always in these situations. Some people think it's a good idea that these emails are made public, and others disagree. So just giving you the news as I have it, and you can make your own decisions. But the next few months, I think, is going to be very interesting as the election in the United States heats up. So just a few more things around the world. In Tunisia, last night the Prime Minister was voted out of office. He had lost a vote of no confidence, and he's been in position for 18 months in Tunisia, and in people's opinion has not really done a good job of protecting them, rebuilding the economy, and reestablishing tourism, which is such an important part of that country's business and economy. So that's going to be interesting now to see how the president pulls together a replacement government and what happens in Tunisia. In Texas, there was a very sad story from yesterday. There was a hot air balloon accident. It caught fire. I'm not sure what happened. May have hit power lines. There's all kinds of stories, but there were 16 people on board and there weren't any survivors. So I'm sure this story will be playing out. And of course, our hearts go out to all these people who are affected by these kinds of really tragic accidents. But that's in Texas. In Syria, dozens of families are escaping using these humanitarian corridors that the government of Syria has opened. We'll see how this plays out. There's lots of cynicism about why the government's doing this, but right now all we can see are families with kids getting out of Aleppo, which is a really desperate situation right now. In Belgium, two brothers were arrested for potentially planning terrorist activities in Belgium. One has been released and one is still under arrest. So Belgian police have been doing a lot of work in the last few months to get control and get a handle on these potential terrorist activities. And of course, it impacts the safety of all of Europe. In California, just to bring you up to speed on the wildfires there, well, they're continuing around the Big Sur area, which is so tragic. And a couple of women actually on our Facebook live session commented how it's impacting their lives, how it's so hot down there and these fires are growing. They're not getting under control. It says now that the estimated final size of this fire is going to be the size of Singapore, like 235 square miles of land. Very, very tragic. So hopefully that gets under control. We need some rain. That's what's needed maybe. But anyway, a few other final things on business side. I read an article yesterday, which is kind of interesting. The oil company, Exxon, has announced its profits have dropped 59% this year. And this is the worst results in 17 years. And it says something, I think the uber point here is that it says something about how with renewable energy and the decrease in the price of oil, a lot of countries that were dependent on that for income, including the United States companies like Exxon, are struggling and suffering. So we'll see how this plays out over the next few years. I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic that we need to look at. Okay, entertainment. I found this story and I must have mentioned it, that for all you Games of Thrones fans out there, Series 8 is it. Done after that. They've announced that that's the last one. There might be spin-offs, but that's they say this is the last series, Series 8. And my comment is, am I the only person in our whole community who hasn't seen a single episode of Game of Thrones? I know it looks wonderful, but I've never seen one. So anyway, don't know how you feel about that. Maybe you can leave a comment. I forgot to mention, by the way, that if you do want to get up to speed with these stories every day first, you can always go to 60andme.com/mornings and be told when the news comes out first. So that's just a little reminder for you. Just a couple more items here, worldwide news. Interesting for people wanting to travel to Cuba. This is a travel story. JetBlue, United States airline, is now going to be offering flights to Cuba. First American airline to offer this service starting in August 31st. And the fares are really low, $99. So you might want to check out JetBlue if you think that that's some place you want to visit. I'd like to go there one day. I think it's a really fascinating country. So, and my final story, world news, is in Rio. The Russian weightlifting team has been banned from attending the Olympics. You know that this was a story that we've been covering. Different sports are making their own decisions about the Russian athletes, and weightlifters are not going to be allowed. And also, I just saw a story this morning that in Brazil, of course, it's a week now to the Olympics, and they've just fired their security company that was meant to have 6,000 people dealing with a certain aspect of security, and they're now going to replace because they didn't honor their commitments, apparently, according to the government, and now they're going to replace them with National Guards and police and official national security resources. So that's still happening in Rio. It's going to be a fascinating week. So I have a story now I want to just share about something that is on the minds of a lot of us. And that is where we want to live when we retire, or beyond retirement. And not so much, in our early 60s, but as we get older into our 70s and 80s, where do we want to live? And there's a lot of initiatives. There's an article I'm reviewing here from Next Avenue, which is one of our partners and really good website for older people, stories for older people. And they also quote another article in New York Times to support this idea that people are waking up now to the fact that they need to start looking for alternative, affordable housing for people who don't need assisted living or any kind of medical care, but they just want to be in a place where they get social engagement. They get to take training and courses and go out on activities and live a life where there's no social isolation, where they're mixing with other people. So the article talks a lot about some of the initiatives, especially on the East Coast of the United States, where they're looking at old buildings like convents and schools and motels. And developers are now turning these old buildings into affordable housing facilities for seniors, for us. And, we're living healthier, active, sort of healthy lives, and we want places where we can live life fully. So they're now starting to build these affordable homes that will meet our needs. Now, a lot of people will say that they're not that affordable, and I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to develop a whole spectrum of properties for people to enjoy. There's a lot of work being done in Europe in places like Holland, where they're building, small one-bedroom or even studio type facilities for people over 60 to live. And in the UK, I know there are some initiatives underway too. So perhaps you know of some in your area, in your country, or in your city, where affordable housing communal living, cooperative living is being promoted and supported. Love to know more about that. If you've got any insight, please share your story. I'd love to know. So that is a story I think is of interest to us. It certainly is to me. A reminder that if you could tell a friend about 60andMe and about Mornings with 60andMe, I would appreciate it very much. And don't forget that address to go to sign up to receive the news first. It's 60andme.com/mornings. So that's it for today. I would like to leave you with a question though. And that question is very simply, where do you want to live in retirement? Do you want to live alone? Do you want to live with your family? Do you want to live in a cooperative, communal type of environment? Do you want to live in a retirement home? Or maybe you want to live with roommates, with other women, or in groups of communal situation. So I'd love your answer to that question. Where do you want to live in retirement? I look forward to your comments, and let's have a conversation. And I hope that you have a great Sunday. I'll see you next month, tomorrow morning, on Mornings with 60andMe. Thanks, everyone. Take very good care. Bye for now.